So, today I wanted to talk a little bit more about some education and how to handle certain situations if you're not familiar with them. So, this one's going to be about if you're working somewhere and either you came out working or while working, or you're a business and one of your employees or somebody that works with you that they came out, and what to kind of keep in mind. So the first thing immediately is to start working on establishing connections with that individual and figuring out their preferred pronouns, how they want to be talked to, how they want to be treated, because that's very important for transitioning people. And you, as a workplace, you have to make sure that you guys are as professional when handling the situation as possible. You don't want to get any legal issues or any, like, you don't really want to lose good employees. And that's the thing, is good employees come in all shapes and sizes. I was a manager for a while, and I can say that, like, good and bad employees, all of that stuff, like, it doesn't matter who you are, how you act, or anything like that. So for a workplace, you want to make sure that you're as accepting and you're as open as possible. Now, the next thing to think about is figuring out, if you are working with somebody else, if they need to be instructed, probably by the HR staff, on how to treat those individuals. If you're the one transitioning, then this isn't so much with you, because as long as you're doing your job, you're doing your everyday thing, it doesn't matter how you are. So, for a workplace, it's again very important to make sure that you cover things with the human resources department on maybe if you yourself are unclear as far as what somebody transitioning, like, what they need, how to accommodate them in a way that makes them feel comfortable. A big thing are bathrooms. Um, you want to make sure that they can go to the bathroom that's most comfortable for them. It's very bad for somebody that's transitioning to work like 8 hours and not go to the bathroom in that entire time. It gets very problematic, and there is a higher number of, like, UTIs just because people transitioning don't feel comfortable going to the bathrooms at jobs or schools. So you want to make sure that they feel as comfortable as possible. And you might ask, well, how, like, how about the rest of the coworkers? How should they feel about it? Well, to be honest, that really shouldn't matter. For you as a boss, or for you as a company, um, I worked for a smaller company, so it's harder for me to say as if it's like a big corporation, if it's different. But I know, at least in the scale of like a small to medium sized company, that doesn't matter, or it shouldn't. As long as the person who is transitioning still maintains their level of work ethic and what they were doing before they came out, or if they're a new employee and you're hiring them and you realize that they're transgendered, see how they work, make sure that they're performing their job. That's all you need to worry about. If other coworkers have issues with it, a lot of times that's kind of on them. And that might sound a little bit harsh on the others that aren't transitioning, but for you as a boss, your most important concern with somebody who's transitioning should be that individual's comfort, because you really got to understand that when you have somebody that's transgendered working with you, for the most part, they just want to feel comfortable. So for you to make sure that they're comfortable, that's going to mean the world to them. And in turn, they will probably try to continue to do a good amount of work for you because they feel comfortable. And for the coworkers that have problems with that and they're not accepting of it, those coworkers, I advise talking to human resources, talking to the HR department, and trying to figure out like a good little like middle ground, because you've got to realize that if you're all of a sudden saying like, oh, like I can't work with somebody because they're transgendered, like, oh, I shouldn't have to work with somebody that's transgendered, that's really selfish of you. You're denying somebody a job, and everyone here needs money. Everyone alive needs money. No matter what age you are, you need money. So like, think about that for a second when you're trying to say something about, like, if you have such a strong problem against it that you can't even be in the same workplace with this person. A lot of times, if it's if it's just kind of like, oh, I don't really understand kind of deal, like, just don't talk to them. Just go about working. Do your job. They will do their job. They're probably not going to go out of their way and hurt anyone. And a lot of this I'm speaking from personal experience, but I can say from my experience with transitioning and my experience with the workplace that I was with transitioning, I almost wish a few more steps were... I'm trying to phrase this right. I feel like just not enough of, like, there weren't enough positive steps with that. And it's not like individuals didn't try to, like, weren't working with me or anything like that. I actually had a lot of people in upper management in our job that knew me from before I came out and knew the kind of work that I put in, and me coming out really didn't change anything, because all they were worried about is saying, hey, like, you're still gonna do the same level of work, right? And I was like, of course, why wouldn't I? So I would say for some people, they were very supportive, and you definitely need that with upper management. Is you need to make sure that everyone is on the same page as far as that support, because at least for me, I'm very aware of like little undertones and looks that people give. Maybe more of it's in my head than it necessarily is, but that's part of the reason why I don't make a scene every time somebody like gives me a weird look. But I will say that, again, comfort, making sure that they're comfortable, that's very important. So the last thing I want to talk about to businesses is going to be when you have somebody that you hired that is transgender, make sure that you're not constantly outing them. Make sure you talk to them the way that they feel comfortable being talked to. It's a lot harder for a workplace that you've worked at for like extended time before you come out. It's a lot harder for those people to adjust to it, because they're probably used to calling you what they called you before you came out, before you started your transitioning. And for businesses that have employees that come out while they're working, there's not really an easy answer. It's just you have to constantly work at it. You have to constantly try to make sure that you're correcting yourself and you're calling them their preferred pronouns and you're treating them with respect. No, like, nobody likes being called like a name that really clashes with what they see themselves as, and nobody likes being called or labeled a gender that they don't see themselves as. That's not fun for a lot of people. So that's the last thing as far as businesses. And now just a few things for the individual. If you're coming out in work, like I said before, talking with your human resources department is going to help you a lot. Those people there, they specialize in things like this, and they know how, or they should be equipped, and they should know how to help you and make things comfortable for you. So I advise talking to them and making sure that you're as comfortable as possible with them. Going into being in a job and then coming out in that same job, be patient with the people that you worked with, because for some people that have worked with you, they might have worked with you for a year, maybe more, maybe 2 years, maybe 3. And so that's really difficult for some people, especially in a professional setting. A lot of times in professional settings, everyone is so fixated on getting things out quickly as far as communication, and you can't really, there's a lot of times people just say something without thinking. And for you, when they say something and if it rubs you the wrong way, or it makes you feel uncomfortable, be polite about it, let them know. But just be understanding that not everyone's going to pick up on it like that, and just understand that. And once you understand that, it's going to make kind of the rest of that adjustment for you easier. As far as working someplace and getting there from like day one in transition, again, just make sure that you have a good connection with your management or your upper management, depending on which position you're going for. And after that, make sure that you're still feeling comfortable, that you feel like you can do everything you need to do at your job. You want to make sure that your safety and your comfort come first over a job. And for businesses that don't necessarily understand that, I mean, what are you doing? Like, everyone that's working somewhere should probably feel like that they're respected and they're treated with dignity. I don't think that there's a single place that there's workers that want to continue working someplace if they don't feel like they're being respected properly. So whether somebody's transgendered or not, core concept's the same. And I think that that's something that a lot of businesses don't understand. I know some of them are, and like, I mean, I got curious before I did this video, and I actually Googled a few things, like, oh, what does the internet say about everything like that? And like, for the most part, it's very, 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 very umbrella, where it's just kind of catching everything. And in a way, this video is like a general guide to businesses, or a general like thing towards businesses and people in those businesses. But at the same time, especially since I was giving examples that I have also went through and things that I have learned to adjust myself to, as well as kind of go along with the process. There's definitely more that you can talk about in a way that gives it a more personal feeling. And everyone's transition is a case by case. So you've got to be willing to kind of go with what's going on with them. So that's it for this video. I wanted to kind of do this education video more towards businesses because I guess, I don't know, I guess I'm just thinking about like jobs and stuff like that. So I wanted to do a video about it. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.